Yo, what's good guys, welcome back to another video where today we'll be going through the match day 4 day 1 matches and we'll be also predicting them as well. So Slovan Bratislava versus Dynamo Zagreb. This is gonna be a very interesting game, so let's get started with Slovan Bratislava. Really is not looking good for them. They have lost all 3 matches throughout match day 1, 2 and 3 that they've played in. So their last game they played Girona and they lost 2-0. Currently sit dead last in the table with 11 goals conceded. And on to Dynamo Zagreb, they are doing not too bad. Ever since their manager got sacked, they have actually been doing a lot better. I remember that huge 9-2 loss to Bayern in their first game, which got the manager sacked. And they have slightly turned it around, honestly. Their last game was against Salzburg, which they beat 2-0, and Petkovic got on the score sheet as well. And my prediction is going to be a 2-0 win for Dynamo Zagreb. Now PSV versus Girona. I have a feeling this will be a solid game. So let's get started with PSV. They're doing not the best, genuinely. They have not won a game at all in the league phase. Their last game, in my opinion, they got a pretty solid 1-1 draw versus PSG. Noah Lang, the goal scorer for that match. Now PSV really gotta start getting 3 points in the upcoming matches. And onto Girona, they have not played the best so far in this competition, losing 2 of their first games and winning the 3rd one. Now the last game they have played, they actually beat Slovan Bratislava 2-0. Got loads of very solid players like Tkankov, Brian Gill and Daley Blind, and they have lost their striker Artem Dovbyk to Roma, which is where the goals came from last season when they had him. So my prediction is going to be a 1-1 draw between the two. Now we have Dortmund versus Sturm Graz. This is going to be an insane game, so let's get started with Dortmund. They are looking quite good. Started very well in the first 2 matches, but last game they faced the Real Madrid and they started off 2-0 up, which I thought they would win that match, but Real Madrid would end up coming back to win that game 5-2. And I'm sure Dortmund have this game against Sturm Graz in the bag. On to Sturm Graz. They are struggling hard in this competition. They have not won a game at all. This might be one of the toughest games for them. Crazy how they have only scored 1 goal so far. One of the worst sides in the competition right now, and my prediction is going to be a 3-0 win for Dortmund. Now we have Celtic versus RB Leipzig. This should be a good game for Leipzig, to be fair, so let's get started with Celtic. They are doing okay, but they have not won any games yet. Got slapped 7-1 by Dortmund in match day 2, but did fairly alright against Europa League champions Atalanta, which they drew 0-0 against. And onto RB Leipzig. I rate this team a lot. I'm a big fan of them in Germany. They have had some of the toughest matchups, playing Atletico Madrid, Juventus and Liverpool. So now this one I expect them to win. To be fair, Openda has been offside so many times throughout the games, and Xavi Simons is a absolute baller. I love to watch him play. He's just such a young and exciting player to watch. He's definitely on the rise for a lot of clubs, and my prediction is going to be a 3-0 win. Now we have Real Madrid versus AC Milan. This should be a very good game, so let's get started with Real Madrid. As we mention every video, they are the reigning champions. Vinny was expected to win the Ballon d'Or, but he did not. Rodri managed to win it, and I think that was fully deserved. And Madrid are doing alright so far in this competition. They're struggling at times as well. Like last game, they were 2-0 down to Dortmund. They brought it back to win it 5-2. Crazy comeback, as we mentioned before. And as we move further into the competition, I think they will get better and better. That's just what always happens. And onto AC Milan, it's been a bit of a rough one for them so far. Their first 2 games were quite tough ones, honestly, facing Liverpool and Leverkusen, which they lost, but in matchday 3 they won against Club Bruges 3-1, and Rafael Leão always stands out to me. Such a incredible player. I love how he dribbles even though he's like 6'2" or something. But Pulisic seems to be having a very good season at AC Milan. Now this match is going to be a very tough one for them, but let's see how they do. Now my prediction is going to be a 3-2 win for Real Madrid. Now Lille versus Juventus. This game I expect to be quite tight. So let's get started with Lille. They're doing not too bad this season. Their only loss came against Sporting in matchday 1, which was a 2-0 loss. Then they faced Real Madrid and they won that game 1-0, which is absolutely crazy, I believe through a penalty. And then they faced Atletico Madrid where they won that game 3-1. So they have faced two top teams in Spain and they have defeated both of them. And Jonathan David, a key player with his goals for Lille. On to Juventus. They're looking not too bad as well. Their last match they did not go well, losing against Stuttgart 1-0 very late into the game. Yildiz is a special player. Scored a brace against Inter, and that Leipzig versus Juventus game was very close. Ended up being a 3-2 to Juventus and was a very, very good game, honestly. A entertaining one for the neutrals. Now my prediction is going to be a 3-1 win for Juventus. Now we have Liverpool versus Leverkusen. This game is going to be such a incredible game. So let's get started with Liverpool. They're doing quite well in both Premier League and Champions League. Currently in the league phase, they stand second place with 3 wins out of 3 games, and in their last game they played Leipzig, another German team, and they did very well and won that game 1-0. Surprisingly, Nunez got the winning goal for them, playing some very good football. Liverpool they're looking very, very good. On to Leverkusen. This team is doing quite decent as well. Still don't have any losses in this competition yet. Their last game they played Brest, which is a solid team, managed to pick up a point and ended up 1-1 between those two sides. And Wirtz is really a special player in that team. Such a incredible baller, and this game I think is going to be so good. It might be very tight as well. So my prediction, I went with a 1-1 draw between the two. Now the next game is Sporting versus Manchester City. This will be quite a interesting game. So let's get started with Sporting. They're doing quite well actually. They remain unbeaten in this competition so far. I believe their toughest game was their first one. They played Lille in that game, ended up winning that game 2-0, which is huge. And I mean, all of us know Gyökeres is on absolute fire, one of the top strikers in the world right now. Onto Man City. They're doing quite well in this competition, one of the top teams in the world. Their last game was a very good game for them against Sparta Praha, and they managed to win that game 5-0. Crazy stuff. And Haaland scored a unbelievable goal in that game and got a brace as well in that match. And they're missing quite a few players to injury though, like Grealish, Rodri is out for the whole season as well, and many other players. So that might play a part, but they do have a lot of depth in that team. Now my prediction is going to be a 3-1 win for Man City. Now the last and final game is Bologna versus Monaco. This game genuinely could go either way, so let's get started with Bologna. They're not having a very good campaign so far. Ever since Thiago Motta left the club, it is going downhill. I'm not gonna lie. It is their first time in the Champions League for a while, so maybe that plays a part, but you still gotta come prepared and ready for the biggest competition in club football. Now their last game they faced Villa, who are top of the league phase table. Villa is absolutely incredible, and that is a rough game. They lost 2-0 to Aston Villa. On to Monaco. They're looking like a super underrated team, doing quite well in both Ligue 1 and Champions League. Last game they played Zvezda, or as we like to call them, Red Star Belgrade, and they dominated them winning that game 5-1. Minamino scoring a brace, and he seems like he's found his form once again after leaving Liverpool. Definitely, I think Monaco are a team to look out for, so keep an eye on them for sure. Now my prediction is going to be a 3-0 win for Monaco. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. Don't forget to drop a like. Comment down below all your predictions for all these games. I will check them out. And don't forget to subscribe as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.